Mama, I want to tell you something. Listen to me, no, please. You know, Mama, he was so sweet. He gave me chocolates, ice creams. I liked him so much.
He was a very cheerful, humorous, fun-loving guy, and very good-looking, smart, good height, and all that. So we got really. It was very quick that we mingled with him. He used to play with us also. We had a garden outside our house, so we used to play there after the studies, and he used to take us for ice cream or chocolates also. And that's how that was a person who used to teach us.
Harish.
Varun.
Mema.
He used to frequent our house quite often. He never lived with us. We used to every for my haircuts. I don't remember of having gone alone for a haircut ever since he came into our lives.
You told me not to talk to anybody, but he wasn't a stranger.
When you are a child, you don't think of anybody as a stranger. So I didn't have all those inhibitions or talking to people, and I never thought that anybody could harm me.
I don't feel that strangers are the people who could abuse a child. It could be anybody. It could be it could be your kam wala bai or kam wali bai or anybody.
Was he bad? I don't really know.
Most often, it is somebody very close and somebody the child trusts and loves who abuses them. So then they go into the state of confusion and they do not understand what is really happening. So when that happens, they rarely report it to their parents. Also, the entire social stigma about talking about sex, the whole taboo that it is associated with, it hampers any sort of communication between children and the parents.
I had gone to meet Granny when he asked me to touch his.
Hair, eyes, mouth, the body, your finger, then leg. इस तरह से बताएंगे.
और जो बाकी रह गए दो उसको कैसे बताएंगे?
बाकी का पता ही नहीं है, क्या बताएंगे.
अगर आपका बच्चा आपसे आके पूछे कि उसको क्या बोलते हैं या कैसे आप उनको समझाएंगे, तो कैसे समझाएंगे? क्या है वो?
पता लगाएंगे इसके बारे में.
अच्छा, और अगर आपका लड़का आके आपसे पूछे तो कैसे बताएंगे?
ऐसे बताएंगे. आईज है, नोज है, ईयर्स है, आर्म्स है, बॉडी है, हैंड है, लेग है, और इसको मालूम नहीं है इसको.
तुम्ही मला सांगा गर्ल्सचे पार्ट्स ऑफ द बॉडी.
केस आहे, डोळे, तोंड, छाती, हे बेंबी आहे, निकर आहे आणि हे पाय.
हे निकरच्या आधी पार्ट ऑफ द
चड्डी.
बॉडी.
हां,
पार्ट्स ऑफ द बॉडी, निकर पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी तर नाही आहे ना.
नाही ना.
मग तुम्ही मला त्याच्यासाठी काय शब्द सांगणार?
हे योनीचा भाग आहे का?
ते पोटाच्या खाली.
पोटाच्या खालचा भाग आहे.
हो, ते काय आहे? तुम्ही काय सांगणार? जर कोणी तुम्हाला विचारलं पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी तर तुम्ही काय सांगणार?
योनी आहे.
योनी आहे. ते तसंच मी तुम्हाला विचारते, पोटाच्या खाली मुलाचा जे भाग आहे ते तुम्ही काय सांगणार?
Why didn't you educate me about...
Because I myself was not educated.
Oh, so that's what. It's not about education. Perima was there in the house. She was going for British Council. So it was ignorance.
It doesn't bring, because
See,
you have degrees, it doesn't mean you are educated.
No. I'm talking about two different things. Is it ignorance? No, you're talking about your ignorance. I'm talking about my innocence.
Right.
So I was innocent and you were ignorant. So both of us are at fault. I mean, and more at fault, for me, innocence came as a virtue.
Put more food. Put more.
Russell?
More. Put.
Put so much sand, so much. Bas.
But when I said no, he got very angry. He jumped and ate me up. I shouted for you, Mom. I really did.
Sometimes he used to send my brother inside for to fetch water, or to do something or the other. I was alone. I used to be alone with him in the room, and in the living room where he used to teach us, and the door was normally kept closed while we were studying, because sometimes it was like my mother was used to watch television in the other room and the voice used to come, so it was like that. So the door was closed sometimes, and that was the time when he used to ask me to come and sit on his lap, and it happened that he used to ask me to uh, pull take my t-shirt up, and he used to put his hand on my chest, and that time I don't know how did I feel, because I didn't realize it that time, but he used to say that you are too small right now and all that. I just remember that word, that you're too small right now.
My uncle first abused me when I was 7 years old. Not exactly 7, it must be 6.5 or something. And it went on for around 11 years or so. So, and the last time that he abused me was when I was 18. So, it was 11 long years. It actually started while he was giving me a bath. That was the first time when he completely stripped himself. And he had given me a bath even before. And there was nothing that I was scared of or any this thing. I was just 6.5, 7 years old. At that age, I didn't find it very. I didn't find it strange, or neither did my family members or anyone find it strange that he's giving me a bath. And this was the first time when he was giving me a bath, he completely stripped. You know, not even an underwear. Otherwise, he would be wearing an underwear. He was without an underwear at that time. And while he was soaping me, and to be very frank, he was soaping me in my private parts and all of that. Again, that was not something that I found objectionable or anything of that kind. While he was doing all of this, he suddenly told me that I should be sucking him off, and he had complete intercourse with me to an extent that that I bled.
I was afraid. I told him no, but he said everyone does it. This is our little game, our secret. I didn't want to do it, Mom.
He did tell me that if at all I told about this to anybody, no one is going to believe it, first of all, and in the end, people are going to blame me, and he will get everyone who is involved, um, and everyone not involved, everyone who is close to me. Um, he'll get them killed, either my mother or somebody, mother, my father, or anybody for that matter.
Unfortunately, we don't have a separate law with regards to child sexual abuse. So today we have to take recourse to the general criminal law. Section 375, which defines what rape is. And you must understand, rape is forced sexual intercourse committed by a man upon a woman. So the victim is a female. And in the laws of rape or unnatural sexual offences, penetration is extremely important. And in very many cases of child sexual abuse, there may not be penetration. So then where does it go?
I remember how dark it was inside. I was shouting for you, Mom. I was really scared.
Yes, I gave hints that time, but my brother got married in 2007, and they were writing these invitation cards and all that, and they told that, all right, let's give card to this person also, because he taught us, and we knew him and all that. So I told them, no, I don't want this person to come into my brother's marriage. And they said, they said, why? I said, I just don't want this person to come in my brother's marriage, and that's it. I said it that in a straightforward manner and in this way only. And they said okay. They didn't invite, but they didn't, later on ask also or whatever.
I did manage to manage to try and muster the courage to speak to mom about it. I told mom that I couldn't tell her the whole act because I was too scared. I managed to tell her that, Mummy, I'm bleeding from my anus, and she just happened to say, oh, it happens. You must have eaten a lot of mangoes. So I was like, and I was silent, and she said, I told you not to eat so many mangoes. So I was like, that was the time when I had actually thought, oh God, why did God make mangoes? When I went to college, is that I had this suddenly I could see that my friend was drifting apart from me. He wasn't as close to me as he was before. And one fine day, when I just walked into the college like any other day, I just happened to meet a couple of friends, and I said hi, and one other friend tells this friend, अरे उससे बात मत करो, वो अपना चाचा के साथ सो के आया. So that came as a shocker to me, because no one did know about the instance that I was abused by my uncle, except my friend. What followed after that was one of the most horrible experiences of my life. And I could well say that it was not even abuse that affected me as much as this incident in my life. Suddenly when I walk inside the toilet, I have graffiti on the college toilets, which have my name clearly written and my number written. So, and for me, living through that phase was very difficult. So that was a moment which drove me to an instance where to a point where I actually contemplated suicide, and I attempted suicide, and I failed.
I tried to tell you, I tried to say that this was no fairy tale. But Mama said, don't cry. And suddenly, it was a lie.
Till date, I don't get along with my father, my brother, any male member of my family. It was because they have never stood up for me. Okay, till date, they have not stood up for me. I have not seen the anger, the frustration, that my son was raped, my son has been through something like this. Yes, I do understand that now things have changed, and now they have made peace with the fact that this guy, that their child is speaking openly about this issue. Okay, they don't have a problem with that. Okay, and even if they have a problem, I don't care. But I don't have that kind of respect for them. I don't respect them as people. It's because when I needed them the most, not so much my brother because he's younger to me, but my father, when I needed him the most, he wasn't there. And yes, it could be partly attributed to the fact that I was never close to him either. I was never close to him. We never shared a bond that we could sit across the dining table and speak about issues like this. But the fact that first time when he came to know about my abuse, and they came to, and he came and asked me whether I was, if I was silent for so many years, was I enjoying it with my uncle? That's something that has left a dent in my mind.
The hunter came. He pulled me out of the wolf's stomach. The darkness was no more.
You know, the first time I told this thing was in paper as a suggestion of making a documentary on child sexual abuse. And there I wrote that I was sexually abused. And when this idea, like when my professor, uh, Ma'am Jaru, she said that yes, you can go ahead of doing this documentary. When this idea was discussed in the class, and that time I realized that I can't make this documentary without telling it to my husband. So I told this thing to Amit. I came back home. I told him that we are making a documentary, and he said, "Okay, on what topic you are making?" I said, "Child sexual abuse." Then I said that we'll be having the people who were abused talking about it. So he said, "Who are they?" So I told him that one of them is me. Then he was taken aback a little bit, and he was silent for some time, and then he asked me that what happened, and I told him, and I asked him that how do you feel about it when I tell you this. Then he said that I feel like if that person would have been in front of me, I would have slapped him.
The worst cases of abuse, if the adults around the children can be a good case of support for the child, half the healing is done there. Usually, in most cases, more than the abuse, it's the reactions of the parents and the family members which actually affect the child.
Okay. I had this dog by the name of Jimmy. This was a dog who could emote, who could look at you and tell you that, okay, today you're feeling sad, we need to talk. He used to have this look on his face. And he precisely did that. Whenever I faced any kind of abuse or any kind of abuse, I used to come home, take him, look at him. He used to insist that I go with him to the room. We used to lock the room, put my head between his paws, and start crying. And every time I did that, he licked my tears.
But I can still see him in my sleep. His big eyes.
Well, I don't know what I felt when I was abused, because I think I didn't realize it that time. I realized it later that I was abused, because that time the person I was with was I liked that person. He was my tutor. I felt that little uh, guilt inside that maybe because went and sat on his lap or something like that. Maybe I invited it. Well, whatever happened did affect the physical intimacy in the beginning, because it was like um, initially, though I had spoken to Amit about it, not the abuse, but whatever the inhibitions I had related to marriage. So I had spoken to him about it, but the doubts were there. The doubts were still there. So he gave me time. He gave me the space of understanding what marriage is, and the relationship is, the between the two people.
What's most strange is that I'm gay today, and I'm thinking of making love to men most of the time. It would be completely wrong if I'd say that it doesn't have an impact on my life. It definitely has an impact on my life to an extent. If I can be absolutely shameless and utter this, I till date cannot have anal sex.
Clean a slate that you can clean and say ki acha ab I've taken all measures, now nothing will happen to my child. It's not like that. A child can know all the personal safety rules, and still we are very often in the case of a family member where the trust is very large, the offender can still get away with probably touching the child, especially if it's a parent. So largely our goal with the personal safety education is that at least the child knows that it's not my fault.
One fine day when my uncle came and he pounced on me, he literally pounced on me. Usually I used to turn numb, but this time I had my brain which was functional, where I was thinking continuously, and while I was when he just came pouncing on me, all that I did was my eyes turned bloodshot, okay, and when he just came close to me, I just lifted my leg and gave him one kick, and hysterically I just screamed, no. I mean, and you not believe it, my head was aching for the next 2 or 3 days because my eyebrows had gone on top, my nerves were like this, and that's all that it took. That's all that it took. One firm no and one kick that took me 11 years to give. Had I registered this protest, even some 5 or 6 years before, I wouldn't have been feeling bad about being abused by other people as well, besides my uncle.
Vagina, breast, anus, buttocks, lips, and bust. Boys, testicles, penis, testicles, then chest, lips, then that anus, buttocks.
Personal safety guidelines. It is never alright to look, touch, or talk about your private body parts except to keep them safe and hygienic. It is not okay for anyone to make you look, touch, or talk about their body parts. Any touch on any part of your body that makes you feel uncomfortable is not okay. If someone does any of the above to you, you have to say no and run away. Once you say no and run away, tell a trusted adult.
The shadow of what had happened about the abuse does come. It still comes, but his love, I give that his love and his his relationship more priority than what had happened. I keep that as a bygone thing now, because I have understood what it was, and I know that it was not my fault.
We are a very showcase nation. You have to be a showcase of emotions for people to realize, and that's what I have understood. And to evoke that emotion in someone else, you have to come out and say, see, I was sexually abused, see, I was raped, see, this happened with me. It's not very easy.
Sumare, Harish. Harish. Adichuduve. Pannade. Hey, pare, Lisa va. Bank of India.